Brigitte has had a bit of a rough time when it comes to balancing. Blizzard just can't seem to hit the right note when tuning her kit, so I've come up with many changes which may be the solution to this problem. Welcome to the channel, I'm Sonic, and today we'll be going through a possible upheaval of Brigitte and try and balance her through these changes. Right now, the pick rate for Brigitte is at 3.8% across all ranks, with only 1 in 8 GM games having a Brig in, and 1 in 15 Masters games, and then below that is less than 1 in 20. That's much lower than the other heroes. We'll start with a quick rundown of the changes, and then we'll go into the justifications. There are timestamps in the description if anything in particular interests you. So her base health is increased to 175 from 150. For Inspire, the area of effect is reduced to 15 from 20 meters. For Rally, the area of effect is increased to 9 meters from 8.5. The movement speed is also increased to plus 40% from plus 30. The duration is reduced to 8 seconds from 10. The armor duration is increased to 40 seconds from 30. The armor gain is increased to 40 per second from 30 per second, and the ultimate cost is increased to 2,900 from 2,800. Her barrier shield has a regeneration rate increase to 90 from 85 health per second, and the cooldown when destroyed is increased to 6 seconds from 5. Shield bash has a range reduction to 6 meters from 6.75. The cooldown is increased to 8 seconds from 7. The stun duration is increased to 0.8 seconds from 0.75, and now if the bash stuns an enemy, the barrier shield will lose 125 health instantly. The repair pack's charges is reduced to 2 charges from 3, now restores 50 health instantly and then 20 per second over 3 seconds. The cooldown is reduced to 5 seconds from 6 seconds. If a second pack is now applied to a hero with the first pack still active, the duration is increased by 3 seconds with no initial healing. If a second pack is applied to a hero who is already at full health, then 25 armor will be applied, which lasts for 30 seconds. And as a quality of life change, if a target dies before receiving a pack that has been used, Brigitte receives 1 charge back instantly. On Rocket Flail, the damage per swing is increased to 40 from 35 damage. The time per swing is increased to 0.75 up from 0.6, and it now gives a movement speed reduction of minus 10% after the first swing until the player stops swinging. The range is also reduced to 5 meters from 6. Whipshot has a damage increase to 75 from 70. The cooldown is also increased to 5 from 4, and the track time is reduced to 0.2 seconds from 0.3. So the idea behind Brig is that she's a frontline fighter or a guard that helps the backline. With the changes that I've outlined, that becomes even more prominent, but with slight lean towards the protective side of things. I'll start with Rally. The radius has been slightly reduced, but with a little extra movement speed, this I believe will give the ultimate a slightly more versatile feel to it. Along with that, you can use the ultimate further away from the team and still be able to have an impact. However, to compensate for what I see to be an inherent buff to Rally, the cost has been increased slightly to 2,900 and with a slightly shorter duration of the effect. This means that the amount of groundbreaking cover is around the same, but the ultimate is more impactful as the armor gain is quicker, lasts for an extra 15 seconds. This means that you can set up for an engagement longer before the actual fight happens, so you don't feel bad about pressing your ultimate button too early. And this encourages team play as the ultimate is less effective mid-fight, but better out of combat and towards the end of combat with a faster armor per second. The extra speed also gives Brig just that little bit more movement than she already does. So the biggest change is with the repair packs. So Brig's USP is her armor, and I feel that she can be balanced and kept different from heroes like Lucio and his AoE healing. When Brig lost her armor from her armor packs, she went from disliked in lower ranks to quite frankly hated. By giving back the armor, even in a small, different way, the pick rate for Brig will most likely increase. So by giving her a small amount of overheal is the target, but how do you give that without returning to the meta dominated by Brig? The answer would be to put an extra limitation on the use of overheal, so requiring 2 packs with the second one applied when at full health fits exactly what you want. The armor could go to a Tracer or Widowmaker before a fight, giving a little extra survivability. I can see higher levels of play where this could be too strong, if the Tracer is a good enough player, but at the same time we need to keep in mind that Overwatch is a game with many different levels of skill between the community. As a compensation to this, some of Brig's team play mechanics have been toned down in the other patch changes. But capping the number of packs stored to 2 but reducing the cooldown to 5 means that instantaneously Brig has less power, but over a longer fight Brig actually gets stronger, with 50 health healed instantly like Baptiste's primary fire, and then the healing over time effect to achieve the uniqueness for Brigitte. The overall healing from each pack is the same, but over a second longer time, and with a 1 second shorter cooldown. It's an interesting balance, because often in higher ranks of play, the fights are much shorter in this meta, but at the lower ranks they're longer, like much longer. So yeah, if you have any comments as to this repair pack change, tell us down below and maybe your idea could be featured in a future video. The idea behind the rocket flail changes is to make Brigitte feel more impactful whilst actually having a lower DPS. The DPS is lowered from 58.3 DPS to 53.3, so whilst only being 5 damage different, the idea is to change the feel of her power. Combos that were possible remain the same, such as 4 swings into Whipshot, shield bash swing Whipshot. The time to kill a 200 HP hero is up by 0.15 seconds, minuscule change. The range has also been slightly shortened to make Brig feel a little less obtrusive. That, along with the ever so slightly reduced movement speed when swinging, just means that players cannot be too aggressive in certain situations. You can't have a Brig literally coming out from behind a Reinhardt swinging, killing you, you're getting annoyed, that sort of thing. The Whipshot changes are very simple. Longer cooldown for more damage, gives more reward for better aim. There's not much more to say about it, other than it removes some power against heroes like Farah, Echo and Mercy, as I believe Brig should really be a ground-based hero. The 0.1 second change on the retraction time is just a quality of life change really. It shouldn't impact anything too much. I've chosen to leave Inspire approximately the same, but just with a slightly smaller radius, which means that Brig has to play slightly closer to her team to be able to have a measurable impact. A small but powerful nerf to keep her down. Now for the shield and the bash changes. The health remains the same at this point, as it seems to be a reasonable amount for both protection and destruction by the enemy team. The regeneration has received a slight buff when it's not destroyed, a similar movement speed but a longer cooldown if the shield is destroyed. This is designed to raise the skill cap for players playing Brigitte. It's all well and good soaking up 250 damage every 6 seconds, but if you can control it such that you are close to 249 damage without going over, the power of Brigitte is increased, taking only 4.6 seconds to return to maximum health. A small benefit, but allows for some high level play. Shield Bash, on the other hand, I feel it'd need a little tune down to bring it down in line with the other stun effects in the game. The range is a slightly shorter range, but this should not affect the field too much. It was just annoying for enemies to be right at the edge of the range who felt they were way far enough away. An increased cooldown allows for more mobility abilities to come online, allowing disengagements away from a Brig. The bash has also had a slightly longer stun effect to make the ability feel more powerful with only a very slight buff. But on the contrast, if the bash lands on the enemy, the shield will take 125 damage instantaneously. This gives the enemy a slight time advantage, as they would be able to break the barrier faster and retaliate after being stunned. This would probably negatively impact Brig at first, but later on in a patch or experimental card, players would realise the other fine-tunings in her abilities mean that she is as powerful as before, but in a more balanced way like Anna, because her power is balanced but is a very high power level. So that's it. What do you think of the changes? Would Brig be too strong, too weak, or maybe just right? Whilst you're there, comment which hero we should attempt to radically balance next, as I think there are some really interesting ones that we can do. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next time.